Today we are going to dive into the world of advanced prompt engineering and fine tuning. But what does that mean, you ask? Well, it's all about using more advanced methods to get ChatGPT to give you the answers you want. So let's break it down and see how this works. Advanced prompt engineering includes two important parts. First, it's about getting good at the techniques you have already learned in this section and mixing them up to get exactly what you need. Second, it involves using modifiers to make those techniques even better. For example, if you are using the fourth grader technique to simplify things, but it's too simple, you can kick it up a notch with explain it to me like I am a sixth grader, seventh grader, or eighth grader until you hit the right level of complexity. This is where advanced prompt engineering comes in. It's about knowing your toolbox and adjusting it to your specific needs. But why bother with all this? Well, it gives you more control over the answers you get from AI, making them more accurate and relevant. You see, the quality of the answers depends on how you ask the questions. Prompt engineering is like asking the right questions in the right way. So, when do you need to go beyond basic prompt engineering and use these advanced skills? Well, basic prompts might not be enough when you are dealing with complicated questions. This happens when the techniques you learned before just can't handle the job, or when you need a more complex approach. For example, if you are trying to draft an article with different tones in different parts, you need various prompt techniques. You might want a simple start, a more sophisticated middle, and a bullet-pointed ending, each needing its own special prompt trick. So, how do you get started on this journey of advanced prompt engineering? It begins with understanding the little details you have been learning so far. You learn how to tweak your prompts to get the right context, tone, or details. This journey is all about combining the techniques you have learned, figuring out what happens when you mix them, and adjusting your techniques based on what ChatGPT gives you. With this knowledge, you will be ready to master advanced prompt engineering, making your approach precise and tailored to what you need from ChatGPT. Now, we'll show you how to use advanced prompt engineering to draft an article. We'll give you a real example and later you will get a chance to try it yourself. Today we are to talk about drafting an article on how AI affects environment. To get started, we have a prompt which is like our guide. Let's take a closer look at it. Act as an environment expert. Summarize the influence of AI technologies on the environment over the last 3 years. Use a professional tone. This prompt uses 3 different tricks to get the right response. First, it says act as an environment expert. This makes sure the answer sounds like it's coming from someone who knows a lot about the environment. Second, it says summarize, which means to give a short version of something. Instead of a lot of details, it's asking for a summary. Lastly, it uses from priming to set the tone. Writing, use a professional tone, which means it should sound professional. The text it generates is a good start, but it has a couple of issues. It doesn't look like an article with paragraphs and all that. Plus, it uses some big words that might make it hard to understand. So, we are going to make some changes. Iterations are like draft or versions. In these drafts, we'll give more info to the AI based on what it writes. After that, in the fine-tuning stage, we might change the tricks we use to make it even better. Right now, I have turned the text into an article format with paragraphs. This makes it easier to read, especially online. I have also added an introduction and ended with some bullet points. These changes give the AI more context and help it understand what I want. To start, I will copy the entire text and paste it in the right place. Then I will select everything, go to the format menu and choose clear formatting. This gets rid of any weird formatting. After that, I will do my own formatting, including adding a header. Advise me on what else I should be writing about in this article that has the same theme: AI's impact on the environment. Write an article on training environmental professionals through AI. Write in the same way as you wrote the previous article. Now, as we wrap up this process, we have a full article that's several pages long. It has a bullet pointed conclusion and some closing thoughts. This has been a very satisfying project.